Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy winning Wednesday. I hope you all have had a wonderful day. My day has been wonderful. Busy as always. Y'all know I say that all the time because I always have stuff to do, but wonderful nonetheless. And now I get to come here and do what I love to do most, and that is to encourage, enlighten, and love on each and every one of you. Now, let's jump into today's topic because I have a busy evening. We have our private circle class at 7 o'clock. So I need to get this video uploaded and I have a couple other things that I want to do before my class at 7. So today's topic is how to build self-confidence. And I'm going to be sharing some Stoic principles with you. And if you've been following me for a while, then you know I love a lot of the Stoic principles that I see. So have you ever found yourself questioning your abilities, doubting your decisions, or feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges? Let me put a pin right here. I know I do from time to time. And I know that because I am prone to having seizures. Thank God not all the time, but I'm still prone nonetheless. I am working on limiting the stresses and stress factors in my life. And one thing's for certain, two things for sure. I am not going to walk around, doubting myself or the decisions that I make, because that definitely can lead to stress. So let's dive into some Stoic principles to unlock some powerful ways you can boost your confidence and transform your life. I have 7 principles that I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to let you be. Number 1 is perception. So this hits close to home for all of us. Perception is like flexing your muscles in the gym of life. This allows you to transform obstacles into stepping stones. Each trial will then become a chance to discover a new layer of your strength. So think of it as a hidden reserve of confidence in reserve of confidence you never knew you had. A sculptor doesn't see a block of marble as a hindrance. They see the potential masterpiece within. So as we navigate life's twists and turns, we must look beyond the surface, embrace challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to get rid of the excess, revealing the resilient, confident sculpture of yourself. So the next time life hands you a challenge, see it as a Stoic invitation to shape your confidence, to redefine your narrative, embrace the hurdles, dance with the uncertainties, and watch your confidence grow with each step that you take. So in other words, we have to learn to take what life throws at us and not necessarily see it as a negative, but find something positive in there. Because here's the thing, and I know what you're saying. You're saying, but Michelle, there's not always something yes, it is. There's always something positive in every negative thing that happens in our lives. I can promise you. But the problem is that we don't look for it. I'm one of these people, if something negative happens, I sit down, I say, all right, Lord, it's me again. And you already know what's going on. So show me the positives of whatever that situation may be. And it may take a day or two for him to get back to me, but God always reveals the positives in whatever that negative situation is, because I can promise you there are some. Number 2 is acceptance. Imagine you are sitting at a cafe, sipping on your favorite coffee or tea, because y'all know I'm not a coffee drinker, and you're thinking about life's many twists and turns. So Marcus Aurelius once said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within you, in your way of thinking. So think about that just for a minute. I want you to really think about that. Let it set in and unpack it yourself. So happiness isn't some elusive thing that's hidden and can only be found by some people and not others. It's right here inside of us. Acceptance comes into play because life is like a roller coaster ride. There are loops, twists, and some unexpected turns. You know, it's been a long time since I've been on a roller coaster, but I still remember how that roller coaster can take you up. You know, it inches you all the way up to the top, and then it drops you down. You got twists and turns and all of that other good stuff. But that's just how life is. However, there are aspects of this ride that we can't control. So when you least expect it, therefore acceptance is about acknowledging the uncontrollable elements and making peace with them. So instead of dwelling on the things that you can't change, focus on the things that you can change. Let me put a pin right there, because I've talked about that before. You have to go through life focusing only on the things that you can change. You can't change somebody else's behavior. You really can't change the way people think about things, even you. I mean, you can try to change their perception, but the reality is you can't change the way they think. So stop focusing on the stuff that you can't control and focus on the things that you can control. That's where you should be pouring your energy into. So you can change your thoughts, your actions, and reactions. They are your superpowers in the game of life. Those are things that you can change. And I think it's wonderful that I may not be able to change your thoughts or your actions, but I can change mine. I can change how I perceive a situation, because the way I perceive it will determine how I react to it. Come on now. Number 3, gratitude. Imagine your life as a movie. Seneca reminds us, he says, don't fast forward to the sequel, enjoy the current scene. When you're watching a movie, you don't fast forward. Well, I hopefully you don't. You're not fast forwarding to the next sequel in that movie. You're enjoying the one that you're watching, because it's setting you up to be able to enjoy the sequel to that movie. He says, so you see, real joy isn't in tomorrow's uncertainties. It's in relishing the now. Now, let me say this. The only time that's not necessarily true is if you are looking forward to going on vacation. And you know that tomorrow when you get up, you're packing up the car and you're hitting the road. There's joy in that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the game of life. There is no real joy when we sit back and think about the uncertainties of tomorrow. Enjoy right now. Enjoy what's going on today. That's why we don't sit around thinking, oh, I'm so happy in my relationship today, but Lord, what about tomorrow? What about next week? What about next month? What about next year? We don't focus on that. We're focusing on the joy that we are experiencing right here and now with the person that's in our lives. As you boost self-confidence, remember that gratitude is your secret weapon. Let me put a pin right here and pause for the calls, because gratitude is always going to be your secret weapon. You know why? Because it's appreciating what you have. This is why every time I go to God in prayer, I say, Lord, I thank you for what you've done. I thank you for what you're doing. But I also thank you for what you're going to do. That's gratitude. I'm grateful. And I always say, Lord, if you don't do anything else in life for me, I'm grateful for what you've already done. Because what you've done is a lot. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can only speak for me. What God has done in my life is a lot, and I am truly grateful for it. So always remember that gratitude is your secret weapon. It's important to appreciate what you have going on. Celebrate your wins and accomplishments, no matter how big or small they may be. Be grateful for what you have while you wait on what's to come. Y'all, I need to say that one more time, because somebody in the back of the room didn't hear that. Be grateful for what you have while you wait for what's to come. Again, when God and I were talking, I always say, Lord, not only am I thankful for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do, I'm truly grateful for all that I have in my life. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for the things in my life. And I'm grateful for those things while I wait for the other things I've asked God for. See, that's how you show gratitude, and God loves it when we show gratitude. Yeah, he knows that you're grateful, but it's all right to open your mouth, because you do it for everything else, and tell God how grateful you are for all of the things that he's done for you while you wait on the things that are to come. Number 4 is resilience. This quote says, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Zeno wisely once said. So translation, our minds love to play worst case scenario. Imagine you just faced a setback, maybe a huge fail moment. Instead of dwelling on the what ifs and drowning in self-pity, you do a mental somersault. You assess the situation, adapt like a boss, come on now, and move forward with newfound wisdom. That's resilience in action. Can I say it one more time? Assess the situation, adapt like a boss, and then move forward with newfound wisdom. That's resilience in action. So with each setback that you conquer, your confidence levels will skyrocket. It's like leveling up in the game of life. Y'all, that's powerful. Now, as always, all this will be in the description box. Number 5, mindfulness. Epictetus once pointed out, he said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Come on, somebody. Let me say that one more time. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth, so that we can listen more than we talk. To be mindful is to cultivate self-awareness. This is why you must turn up the volume on your inner dialogue. Listen to the beats of your thoughts, the doubts, the fears, the the triumphant cheers. Take a moment to understand the rhythm of your mind. Now grab the mental dial and with a flick of intention, guide it toward the empowering tunes. The thoughts that sing, "You've got this." So again, instead of allowing all of the falls and the setbacks and the negativities take you down, turn that dial and focus on those people that are cheering for you, that are saying, "Hey, you got this, you can do it." And guess what? Let me let you in on a little secret. If nobody else is doing it, you need to do that for yourself. I tell myself every day, "Michelle, you got this." And I know I shouldn't use the word God. However, and because I tell myself, "Michelle, you got this. You can do anything that you put your mind to doing." Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't be something, because you can do and be anything that you put your mind to. But I will encourage you to take God with you, because God will make that path clear for you to get from A to Z. So don't feel like you have to do it by yourself. Number 6 is purpose. Imagine life as a story and you are the main character. What's your purpose in this epic tale? Knowing your role in the big picture of life is like having a treasure map for your soul. Seneca once said, "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive." I'm going to say that one more time. He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive. It's not about avoiding the inevitable. It's about embracing the journey with all you have. Remember, defining your purpose is like discovering a hidden talent or realizing your favorite flavor of ice cream. I don't eat ice cream, but for those of you that do, it's personal and it's got to resonate with your core. I hope that makes sense to you. Let me say that one more time. Defining your purpose is like discovering a hidden talent or realizing your favorite flavor of ice cream. It is personal and it's got to resonate with your core. So as we realize our purpose, my purpose is personal to me. Your purpose is personal to you. Your purpose is not my purpose, and mine is not necessarily yours. Yes, we have people, just like with life coaches. We have a ton of life coaches, but everybody's purpose is a little bit different. So stop worrying about everybody else or what everybody else is doing. Find excuse me, I know I should have brought my tea with me. Find your purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, I want to encourage you to put pen to paper and sit down and really think about, what is my purpose, Lord? What am I here for? And if you sit down with pen and paper and you talk to God and then get quiet and listen, God's going to reveal your purpose to you. For some of you, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave that alone. Sorry, y'all, my sinuses are draining. For some of you, God has already revealed your purpose. He has. God has already revealed your purpose. The reason why you still don't know what it is because the purpose that God has revealed to you is not what you wanted. Let that sink in for a minute. God revealed your purpose to you, but you have failed to see it because it's not what you wanted. Let me tell you something that I know about life. In life, we don't always get what we want. But I encourage you to take what God gives you, because God knows best. And if God has given you a purpose and you say, okay, well, Lord, that's all fine and good, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. I want to do this thing over here. God's going to let you attempt it, but it probably won't go anywhere. You know why? Because that's not what God has called you to do. So I want to encourage you to find your purpose, pray about it, and then do that thing that God has called you to do. Now I'm going to leave that be. Number 7, last but not least, action. Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy for you, embody it. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. Don't explain your philosophy for you, embody it. So what does this mean? Well, so what does this mean in the real world? It means it's time to step up and do more than just thinking about it. It's time to do it. Can I say that one more time? It's time to stop thinking about the things that you want to do and start doing it. You have a goal or a dream that you have been thinking about for a long time, but you haven't done anything with it. Well, it's time to start taking intentional steps toward getting it done. And we're going to come back and unpack that in just a minute. So Stoics were Stoics were fearless warriors in the battle against fear. So what you need to do is channel your inner Stoic hero and face those fears head on. Be it fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown. Acknowledge it, stare it down, and show it who's boss. No matter what your fears in life are, you need to acknowledge it, you need to stare it down, and then show it who's the boss. You are the boss. Your fears are not the boss. Your fears are not in control. You are. It's time you live it, breathe it, and let the world see your confidence radiate from every move that you make. Some of us have been talking the talk for a long time, but it's now time to walk the walk. Let your confidence resonate such that the world can see it. And it's not about bragging. It's not about boasting. It's just letting people know I am confident in me. I am confident in my abilities. I am confident that I'm able to do what God has called me to do. Let the world see that. It's all right. It is all right. And then I'm going to leave you with this. Actions, after all, speak louder than words. Your actions speak louder than words. See, people hear you talking. They do. They hear you talking. But if they don't see you doing anything, then that's a problem. That is a huge problem when they don't see you doing anything. But let me go back to something I said earlier. And that was, when I said it's time to start taking those intentional steps toward getting it done. I said that because, again, when we talk about building self-confidence, a lot of times people don't step out there to do the things that they've been called to do and the things that they really want to do because they lack self-confidence. And it's also because of fear. Fear as it's said, fear is false evidence appearing real. But the reality is that a lot of people do have fear. A lot of people have said to me, Michelle, I want to get started on YouTube, or I want to do a podcast, but I'm afraid. And I always ask the question, afraid of what? Well, I don't know if people will like my content. I don't know if I speak well enough. I don't know if I present well enough. And so they're afraid. They're afraid of people judging them. And I always say to them, let me say this. In this game called life, people are always judging us. They are. They're always judging you, no matter what you do or what you look like. Somebody somewhere is always judging you. So you cannot allow that to keep you from doing what you do. Because here's the thing. We get up and we go to work every day. And people see you, right? People on your job. People see you as you're commuting to work. And some of them are judging you. They're looking at you thinking, who she thinks she is? She thinks she's all of that. Or who does he think he is? He thinks he's all of that. Somebody somewhere is always judging us. But who cares? That's not your business. That is not your concern. Remember, I started off talking about how you can't change things. Focus only on the things that you can change. Well, you can't change people judging you, because they're going to do that no matter what you do. It doesn't matter how rich you are. They're going to judge you and say you think you're all of that because you have money. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what your style of dress is. It doesn't matter whether you wear glasses or you don't. It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter what you drive. None of that, who you know, who you don't know, none of that matters, because people are always going to judge us. That's just the way life is. But you can't let that keep you from stepping out there and doing what's in your heart to do, what God has placed in your heart to do. You just can't, because if you do, all you're going to do is stay in your house forever, locked up inside, afraid to go out because you're afraid of what people are going to say about you. Let them talk. Let them talk. Here's what I know. When people talk about you, guess what? You're on their mind, because we don't talk about people that aren't on our minds. So talk about me. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. You can talk all you want to. Guess what? They talked about Jesus. They talked about Jesus. They crucified him. They put him up on a cross. But guess what? The joke was on them, because when they put him on the cross, nailed him, didn't just put him on the cross. Can you imagine having a nail driven through the palm of your hand? How painful that must have been. And in his feet, oh my God, they did that thinking that they were hurting him. They were persecuting him. They were talking about him, judging him. And guess what? The joke was on them, because after they buried him on the third day, he rose again with all power in his hand. Come on, somebody. I know this isn't a Bible study lesson, but I'm trying to get you to see that God didn't let what the people said about him discourage him from doing his Father's work. He did it anyway. He did it in spite of the fact that there were people that didn't believe in him and didn't encourage him. He did it even through all of that. And so if Jesus can do it, we can do it too, because he's put it in us to be the best that we can be, but we've got to believe in ourselves. So hopefully something that I shared with you today will help you to start focusing on your self-confidence. Because I promise you, I do understand that self-confidence will keep you from moving ahead in life. It's going to keep you from doing a lot of things. And I don't want that to be a barrier for anybody. So I'm going to say this. If you are truly struggling with self-confidence and you want some one-on-one help, or maybe you have a group, please be sure to reach out to me. And I would love to come and do a self-confidence workshop to really encourage you and to let you know I'm your biggest cheerleader. So reach out to me. Let's set up a time where we can talk. And I would love to come to your church, your organization, or wherever, and do a self-confidence workshop, because I do think it is very much so needed. Now, having said that, I'm going to let y'all be, because I have so many things to do before 7 o'clock, which is in a couple of hours. But hopefully something I said resonates with you. and helps you to start building up the self-confidence that I know you have inside of you. If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. If this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back. You know, I miss you when I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there, enjoy the rest of your evening. Wherever you go or whatever you do, I ask that you do so safely and just be careful. Watch your surroundings. So much is going on in this world today that we have got to be extra vigilant about where we go, who we hang out with. Come on now. And just, keep your eyes open at all times, okay? Now, y'all know the drill. You know the spiel. I love you all to the moon and back, and there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing that you can ever do about it, because that's not going to change. I love you. My goal is, and my purpose is to encourage you, and this is what I try my best to do. You know, my post on Facebook was this morning. I think it said, be the reason that somebody smiles, or something similar to that. Well, my goal every day is to be the reason that somebody gets encouraged and decides to step out there and truly live their life to the fullest and stop holding back because you lack self-confidence and fear is holding you in bondage, because it doesn't have to be like that always, okay? Again, love you all to the moon and back. We'll talk again on Friday.